r/AskWomen. Fling5T0 Northeast H1 says, what is something you never realized about yourself until someone else told you? NoSuit9971 says, that I fixate on things that have hurt me. 10. Fawnanana says, I make a lot of noises. In a car, when there's a sudden movement, if I bump into something, if something touches me, I make little random noises. My brother pointed it out a long time ago, after I got mad at him randomly poking me. He explained that I made a different sound each time, and called me a squeak toy. Still do it, but now I'm aware, and I try to be more quiet when other people are driving, so I don't startle them. Halayla says, I was eating fries while driving somewhere with my brother and he randomly goes, do you do that after every fry? Apparently every time I eat a fry, I have to wipe the salt off my hand after. I had never noticed it until then and now I can't stop noticing it. Lavender Pears says, I didn't realize I laugh just like my mom until a cousin pointed it out to me. It feels very endearing to have inherited it. Ladalamondrop 209 says, one of my stims and a bunch of my occult compulsions. How abnormal my childhood/upbringing was that I'm shockingly pale. Natevina Most Famous says, a previous supervisor told me that one of the reasons a senior director didn't like working with me was because my ideas are really out of the box. It wasn't necessarily meant as a compliment or an insult, but she did say that she hopes I continue to share my creative ideas. I'd never realized my ideas were that different from everyone else's. I always feel a bit self-conscious when sharing an idea now. Mrs. 2021 says, I have vivid facial expressions and simply cannot hide how I'm feeling because of my damp face lol. An paleontologist 136 says, my sister did an impression of mine and steepled her fingers and now I can stop noticing every time I do it. Ramotisqua 2643 says, that I was an old hag. I've never really gotten over that one. Especially when more also older men like to remind me that I'm not young anymore. Perlamus says, that I was being nasty whenever I made snarky indirect comments about people who were trying to help me. I felt frustrated that the people I spoke to about my problems would never truly understand what it'd be like to be in my position, and always felt contemptuous whenever they offered advice that I deemed as obvious or nugatory. What I should have felt was appreciation for their efforts, especially since now I have next to no one who would even lend a genuine listening ear. I took the friends I had for granted and will always feel shame for how I treated them. I can only hope I've improved over the years. Cartographer 1096 says, that I already look beautiful. I had a very hard time accepting that because I'm a perfectionist, but also because I grew up thinking I wasn't enough. Finally it clicked, and I so much happier also dress a lot better now, which gives me more confidence too. Big Poops says, this is such a great question. I'm a toe runner, meaning I strike with the front of my foot rather than the heel. I didn't know it until my mom pointed it out in 4th grade. I was bullied horribly for it later. I'm also super expressive when I talk. Didn't know that until I was in my early 40s. Farlow 5718 says, that I'm nurturing and would make a good mom. To this day I'm afraid of bringing a child into the world because I always saw myself as the opposite of that. But was told this by a family member and a nephew, and it caught me by surprise. Definitely have thought more about kids since then. r/AskWomen. Garbage a truck stop says, what's the worst drunk girls in the bathroom experience you had? Maleficent Street 7319 says, lol. My friend Lisa was sick and locked herself in a bathroom stall at a venue for a while. It wasn't a great situation, we were young and had to wait for the show, to end for a ride out, so she was just hunkered down in there. I kept going back and checking on her, and at one point I went in and she was laying on the floor next to some tacos. She's like, "Hi, I'm okay," and I'm like, "Where did you get those tacos?" She said some other drunk chick was crawling around on the ground outside and saw Lisa sitting on the ground in her stall and became super interested in her. She had put her head into the stall and was trying to chat her up and kept coming back and checking on her and eventually brought her tacos and crawled in there and tried to cuddle her. Darth Footy says, Juarez, Mexico. Tequila. Tacos. Chickens. Poop on the walls. Two girls were fighting, throwing their bloody tampons at each other. My girlfriend was puking in the sink and the smell coming from the stalls, like WTF, yet I remember the taco aftertaste so vividly. Real tacos, not pee. Although, that's another story. Captain Wiffles says, me, puking on the bathroom floor of a bar at 8 PM on New Year's Eve. Prestigious Store 530 says, I was in a stall on the toilet in a tiny women's bathroom, so tiny my feet stuck out of the stall. It was a warm day, so I had sandals on. Bad idea because someone waiting in line outside the stalls puked on my feet. I still remember what it felt like, shivers. Rare Jellyfish 2658 says, some girl came out of the stall and was obsessed with my macup and put her hands on my face and my hair. And didn't wash her hands. Personal Wealth 2899 says, OMG, my ex-BFS mom and sis-in-law basically molesting me while we were trying on clothes. I know it can be girl world to push the titties up to make them look better with your outfit, but they both reached down my pants to try clip a bodysuit and more. Coffin Cowgerel says, bruh, I was at a middle school dance and I had to take a piss and I was booed out of the bathroom because someone had broken up with their BF. I felt bad for her, but I was, and still am, mad I had to wait to take a piss. There's multiple people, so if I started throwing hands I'd be outnumbered and it'd be my fault somehow. Unusual Form 3267 says, I was out with a bunch of friends at a bar with dancing. One of my friends had just moved from a small town to the bigger city we were in. We'll call her Jamie. Jamie was massively drunk. So were all of us, but she was being a bit of a handful. 3 of us were in the bathroom and were about to walk out when Jamie starts talking about her body. She kept saying things like I lost 50 pounds and I wasn't even trying. It's crazy. I didn't even have to try. That doesn't sound so bad. Except that she started telling every girl that walked in. She was literally talking to everyone about it a little too aggressively. She would hold her arm up to another girl's and compare size. She was saying things like, oh wow, I can't believe I used to be your size. It got heated real quick. We were trying so hard to pull her out of there and apologize to everyone. It was such a mess. Especially when 2 girls started talking about meeting her in the parking lot. I don't think Jamie meant to be a jerk. I think she thought she was being funny or cute in her drunk brain. She was wildly embarrassed when sobered up. Louis says, my guy best friend invited me out to meet this girl he was seeing. We all met at a bar and things were going well. Her and I end up going to the bathroom together where she confesses that she just had sex with a fat guy for $100 that she desperately needed to help pay for her breathalyzer. She had just recently been arrested and I was just in shock. I awkwardly tried to comfort her as she started crying. I had no idea what to say. She then says, here babe, and tries to get me to hold a Coke baggie. She was a cute, young petite girl that looked completely put together. Needless to say, I just went home. r/AskWomen. Starfire 4377 says, how does having colorful tattoos affect your fashion choices? For example, have your wardrobe choices shifted towards more neutral colors? Are there certain color combinations you avoid? Do you purposely cover the tattoos when the colors don't match the outfit? Do you coordinate your nail/toenail polish colors with your tattoos? If your tattoos include gold or silver element, does this affect the jewelry you wear? Do you continue wearing your favorite colors regardless of matching? Jajules92 says, it doesn't. I have rainbow hair, and I dress very colorful in general. That's not my name says, I personally know I'd be hyper aware of it for myself, even though I've never thought twice about it on other people. Even when I dye my hair, I cut out certain parts of my wardrobe to make sure my clothes coordinate well with what I wear. Because of this, my tattoos are only black and white. I'm a tattoo artist. Squishedpiss says, it doesn't. Curlimary says, I'm surprised to see so many people say they don't think about it. I totally do. I don't overthink about it, but since gradually getting a half sleeve I definitely wear less patterns and gravitate more towards solids. I just don't want the clash. But it would be fine either way, it's just a preference. M8N00 says, regular clothes, no I don't bother trying to match. Swimsuits, I prefer only black, because my tattoos are fully visible, and about every color in them. Lost Ladder says, I have never even considered it, I choose whatever polish color I'm feeling at the moment. I choose whatever clothes are comfy, and I feel okay in. I only wear silver jewelry. I honestly can't even remember what all colors are on my tattoo. Magalewis says, I've never even thought about it. I only wear black anyway, and the majority of my tattoos aren't visible when I'm clothed. 43% Marshmallow says, they're like jeans, they go with everything. Quibbler subscribed says, the color/style of my tattoos unironically match the color palette of my wardrobe. Lol. So I don't usually think about it. And when I'm buying new clothes for special occasions I tend to remain within that same color palette, because of my taste. DewStation7618 says, I have a very busy and colorful full sleeve on my left arm and definitely avoid anything patterned, it just looks too busy for my personal taste. I gravitate towards neutrals and black anyways, but I do make it a point to wear solids as I think it helps my tattoos stand out more. Janikarin says, when I first got my first large color tattoo, which is red, and on my side, I did worry about coordinating my swimsuits to match. But now I have multiple color tattoos all over, and I no longer care as they all just blend together. Ugmouth Sound says, I've not bought certain sandals, because I didn't like how they look with my foot tattoo. They either covered up too much, or I felt the colorful straps took away from it. 99 Shadow Soft Crazy says, not so much color coordinate, but I do steer clear of busy patterns if they are colorful, just because it seems to clash with them. I have full, colored sleeves on both arms and a chest piece as well. Suspended Accountant says, my tattoos are mostly easily hidden. I still prefer darker color clothing, but wear various colors, except yellow, aside from some tights/stockings and chub-rub shorts, and maybe a pair of knickers. I don't own any solid yellow clothes. I also don't own, aside from knickers and tights/stockings and chub-rub shorts, any solid pink clothing, but the no pink is a conscious choice. No Pirate 69 says, never even thought about matching. Would be impossible anyway, I have so many tattoos and so many colors. My clothes aren't neutral either. CMN1296 says, I have a large predominantly bluish green and orange watercolor tattoo on my arm, and it doesn't impact my fashion choices at all, unless I'm in a setting that requires me to cover it up. That's all for this video, thank you for watching, please subscribe.